The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Coming to his hometown, Jesus taught the people in their synagogue in such a way that they were astonished and said, "Where did the man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? This is the carpenter's son, surely. Is not his mother the woman called Mary, and his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Jude? His sisters too, are they not all here with us? So where did this man get all this?" And they would not accept him. But Jesus said to them, "A prophet is only despised in his own country and in his own house." And he did not work many miracles there because of their lack of faith. This is the gospel of the Lord. You can see a big obstacle of the people in Jesus' own town. They're not able to welcome the work that he wants to do amongst them. They're not able to recognize him and see him in faith, as we of course hope that we would when we come before the Lord, that we can know him by faith and that his work can happen in our lives. And the obstacle that comes to them is, I think we could summarize as familiarity. They think they know who Jesus is. They think they know enough about him to. There's a presumption there on their part because they know him already. You know, they know his family and they know where he's come from. But that becomes a blockage for them to knowing him as he wants to reveal himself and to the work that he wants to do amongst them. And the same thing can happen with us. In prayer, we seek to get to know the Lord more and more and more. Each day we walk as disciples. We want to know him more, but the familiarity of our life of prayer, even the familiarity of coming to Mass, as often as we come to Mass, can become an obstacle for us. And I think there's two simple ways in which this can happen. It can happen either because our routine of coming before the Lord can just become so repetitive and it's the same each time that we're numb to it and it doesn't mean anything to us anymore. We don't come with a hunger or an expectation. We just come and we go through the motions and we do the same as we did last time because this is what we do, because this is the good thing to do. The other way is that we can come with a presumption that we know what's going to happen, that I've prayed in this way before and I know how God works, so therefore if I pray in this way again, he'll turn up in the same way that he did last time. And both of those can be obstacles to allowing God to work in our lives. And I think it's just like any other relationship that we have. We need to be open to actually receiving the person, because any kind of living friendship or relationship, or even those of you who are married, I'm sure you could say that you would still be surprised by the other in ways, even if as well as you know them over however many years, however long and how deep your friendship is, that unless you're still open to being surprised by the other, letting the other truly be a person in that relationship and bring themselves and be personal and authentic to you, then it becomes closed off and stale and the relationship's not what it should be. So just the same with the Lord, rather than coming to him with presumed expectations, with, I'll do this and then he'll do this, we ought to be open to that surprise, because God's not just some inanimate heavenly being that kind of drops graces on us when we do the right thing, but he wants to have a living relationship with us, to love us and to speak to us, to hear us speak to him, and that would be a living thing. So, of course, in our life of prayer, there is a very important place of that regularity of turning up again and again and again, and even praying in the same way is a good thing, to have a certain stability of how we go about our prayer. But we can constantly be drawn into those temptations of either going through the motions and it losing its meaning, losing the passion and the expectation which we bring to it, or that routine and that habit of prayer that we go through, and even, of course, every time we come to the Mass, it's basically the exact same thing that goes on. But we can come hoping and expecting for God to move in new and in different ways. We come in the same way, doing the same things because God calls us to pray in a certain way, but we want to have a living relationship with Him. So let's constantly humble ourselves to pray in the way that we pray, yes, but to be open to the surprises of God, so that when He astounds us or astonishes us, as He did those who heard His teaching in the gospel today, that we cannot be blocked by this familiarity and presumption, but that we can be open to receiving what He wants to offer us with faith.